Hey there! Welcome to Better Bloom, where we share knowledge and level up your whole self through amazing books. Hey there, book lovers and relentless dreamers. Welcome back to Better Bloom, your cozy corner of the internet where we dive into books that spark joy, ignite wisdom, and maybe even make you rethink your daily grind. I'm thrilled to have you here. Today, we're not just talking about a book, we're cracking open a timeless classic that's as powerful as it is simple, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This book won the Nobel Prize in 1954. And let me tell you, it's not just a story, it's a gut punch of inspiration that'll make you see your struggles in a whole new light. We recently had a heartfelt conversation about The Little Prince, discussing how the more you want, the more you hurt. But this week, we're trading soft philosophizing for the sheer will to fight. Today's theme is sharp and direct. Read The Old Man and the Sea, and I guarantee you'll stop whining about your job. Now, before we set sail on this intense journey, can we pause for a moment? If this review moves you, if it makes you want to hold this literary treasure in your own hands, please, please, please consider buying a copy to support Hemingway's incredible legacy. That's how we keep the great literature relevant! I've dropped the link in the description and in the pinned comment below. Seriously, every copy bought is a vote for timeless wisdom. So let's get real. Why should you, a modern person juggling deadlines, emails, and maybe a side hustle or two, care about an old Cuban fisherman? Because, my friends, this book is deceptively simple and profoundly deep. At its core, the narrative is an allegory for every single struggle you will ever face in your career and in life. It doesn't sugarcoat the pain, it dives headfirst into it. An old fisherman named Santiago heads out to sea, battles for 3 grueling days to catch a massive marlin, finally hooks his prize, and then in a cruel twist of fate, a pack of sharks smells blood and attack. Santiago fights with everything he's got, but by the time he drags his boat back to shore, all that's left of his glorious catch is a skeleton picked clean by those relentless predators. Ouch, right? For Santiago, fishing isn't just a job. It's his lifeline, his only means of survival. And the shocking part? He may not be good at it anymore, but he still has to persevere to the very end, simply to exist. Someone once said, if you're pouring your heart into your career and still hitting roadblocks, read The Old Man and the Sea. I second that. By the time you finish this classic, you will genuinely think twice before complaining about that tough project, that impossible boss, or that feeling of running in place. Stick with me, because we're about to unpack the 4 massive life lessons packed into this slim volume. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Better Bloom to join our community of dreamers and readers. Let's begin at the very bottom. You see, before catching the big fish, Santiago had one of the worst slumps imaginable. His journey begins with a challenge that teaches us everything about perseverance. His story truly starts when he hits rock bottom. Let's talk about Santiago's starting point, because it is the most relatable part of the book. Weathered, wiry, and living in a small Cuban village, making his living by fishing. Here's the killer detail. For 84 straight days, that's nearly 3 months, he has gone out to sea and come back with nothing. Nada. Zilch. Think about that in modern terms. That's 84 straight days of pitching ideas that get rejected. 84 straight days of job applications that go unanswered. 84 straight days of staring at a blank screen, grappling with writer's block, or making sales calls that lead nowhere. The younger fishermen mock him, calling him the unluckiest guy in the village. This isn't just failure, this is failure becoming his public identity. But here's the crucial takeaway, the one that should snap you out of your midday slump. Does Santiago let their taunts, their industry ridicule, or their misunderstanding glances bother him? Not a chance. He doesn't hold a grudge or wallow in self-pity. Every single morning, he greets the sunrise, hops in his skiff, and heads out with unshakable faith that today's the day he'll bring home a haul. That kind of grit, it's legendary. We have all been Santiago at some point. We work hard, but we don't see progress. This is where the wisdom kicks in. Doing any job is like climbing a mountain. And what does Santiago teach us about being at the bottom? He shows us that hitting rock bottom isn't the end, it's the launch pad. As the book subtly suggests, when you're at the bottom, any direction you go is uphill. There is no easy job in this world. There are only people with the fortitude and the sheer will to persevere. Think about the moment you face a disappointment that makes you want to change jobs. You ask yourself, if I jump ship, will everything suddenly be better? The answer, as Santiago's quiet dignity suggests, is probably not. Instead of immediately denying your self-worth when a job isn't meeting your expectations, try sticking with it a little longer. Those days where you put in maximum effort but reap no reward, don't see them as wasted time. Those are the days you are watering the seeds. Keep doing the work that is in your hands. Put your soul into the present moment, and time will ultimately deliver the harvest. This is a powerful, almost spiritual lesson in vocational patience. All right, ready for the glory? The miracle finally happens on day 85. Santiago hooks the fish, but this is where the real struggle begins, and it's a perfect mirror for our own professional battles. We are now fighting the Marlin. On day 85, Santiago's luck finally turns. He hooks a massive Marlin. Instantly, his old fisherman's wisdom tells him this is the one, but the Marlin is an immovable force. It's a contest of strength, will, and endurance. For a day and a half, the Marlin drags his boat across the sea. This is where the physical description hits you like a truck. Santiago's hands start to bleed, his shoulders ache, his eyes sting. He transfers the line to his left shoulder and kneels on the deck, his left hand cramped and useless. He's battered, bruised, and constantly on the brink of collapse. He is quite literally waiting out a successful result that is being brutally delayed. This process, this grueling wait, is the perfect metaphor for your career. You stay up all night writing a massive plan, only to have your boss criticize it as not thorough enough. You negotiate with a client for months, only to lose the contract to a competitor at the very last minute. You work diligently, expecting a big payoff, but the result never materializes when you need it most. Speaking of those challenges, you might hate your demanding boss, but the book and my own experience show that the people who give us the most trouble are often the hidden mentors. The book reminds us that the hardest obstacles are often the ones that forge us. I mentioned the young writer Lu Tong. Despite his immense effort at the television station, some leaders insisted he wasn't suited for the media industry. He faced ridicule, doubt, and accusations of nepotism. He felt so wronged he cried many times. But years later, looking back on his own career, he realized something shocking. That period at the TV station was the time he grew the fastest. We all crave kind bosses and easy clients. But Hemingway's world, mirrored in Tong's experience, suggests that the people who give us the most trouble are often the hidden mentors. I was once inspired by this quote: "If you have a strict, demanding leader who pushes you to grow, cherish that person. If a leader criticizes you once, that might be a bad moment. But if they consistently challenge you, that's often a good sign. The people who make your work difficult are often the catalysts, forcing you out of your comfort zone and pushing you towards self-improvement. All work has its difficulties. Whether the difficulty comes from external factors, from a demanding person, or from the inherent requirements of the task, the process itself is a waiting game for a successful result, a delayed payoff. Your job is simply to keep doing your best and keep going." After all that, you'd think he won, right? But here's the ultimate twist. The one that makes this book a masterpiece. The harsh truth is not every effort pays off. After countless hours of suffering, Santiago finally spears the Marlin. It dies, and he ties the enormous, glorious prize to his skiff. He is ready to sail home a hero. But then, the universe unleashes the ultimate cruelty. The sharks. They smell blood and swarm. Santiago fights like a warrior, using his harpoon and club, but he cannot save the fish. All his glorious 3 days of effort are annihilated in a flash. He returns with only a skeleton. If he had brought that massive fish back whole, he would have proven his worth to everyone. Instead, he returns empty-handed, facing renewed mockery. We are wired to believe in the principle of proportional return. Effort should equal reward. But the harsh reality, which Hemingway forces us to confront, is that hard work is not always rewarded. Let's talk about the friend I know, a disciplined IT researcher. His story perfectly illustrates what happens when you pour your heart and soul into a product and the sharks still win. I know an IT researcher who is incredibly disciplined and diligent. He spent 3 painstaking years researching and developing a groundbreaking software product. Yet, when it hit the market, it failed miserably. People were baffled. How could such a useful product, created by such a smart and dedicated person, end in such a dire fate? But that is the truth of life. Faced with crushing failure and helplessness, some people retreat into self-pity and resentment. Others, like Santiago, choose to learn from their failure and fight on. My friend's story reminds me of a brilliant quote from an economics professor. Every time we succeed, our intelligence quotient drops slightly. Every time we fail, our IQ increases slightly. We should not fear making mistakes in our work. We must fear making the same mistake twice in the same place. Humans must learn to walk, and they must learn how to fall. Only after falling down can we learn to take a more steady, confident step. A truly strong person is not the one who never fails, but the one who can learn from their own failures and keep moving. This section is vital because it shifts the metric of success from the outcome, the intact fish, to the process, the fight itself. That's the core of Hemingway's genius. So, if it's not about the fish, what is this story about? It is about the spectacular power of perseverance. Life is unpredictable and full of challenges. When we face difficulties, a demanding job, a personal setback, an unexpected crisis, it is easy to choose the path of least resistance, to complain, to blame the world, or to simply give up. But Santiago shows us that true strength lies in unbreakable persistence. He does not let 84 fishless days or a shark-eaten marlin defeat him. He keeps rowing, keeps fighting, and keeps believing. Even when he returns with just a skeleton, he is not defeated. He is ready to head back out to sea. Hemingway's own Nobel Prize acceptance speech sums up the book's philosophy perfectly. Everyone should remember that all brave people are tested and tempered in many circumstances, and that is to confront this cold and cruel world, not to complain about that great, gentle, and tolerant era. The Old Man and the Sea is more than a novel. It is a lighthouse guiding you through life's inevitable storms. It reminds us that persistence does not guarantee success, but giving up guarantees failure. You must keep your eyes on the prize and your harpoon ready. Now, we've reached the end of this deep dive. Let's bring it all back home. It's time for you to fight the sharks. So, what is your Marlin, that big goal you are chasing? And what are your sharks, the obstacles and setbacks tearing at your dreams? Whatever they are, you must channel Santiago's unbreakable spirit and keep fighting. If this book inspires you, grab a copy, links are in the description and comments, and support Hemingway's timeless work. Thanks for joining me on this profound journey through The Old Man and the Sea. If you loved this deep dive and you want more content that helps you think, grow, and live better, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend who needs a dose of grit, and hit that subscribe button for better bloom. We drop new book reviews and life insights every single week. Now, it's your turn. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway, your own shark moment, or the story of your perseverance. I can't wait to hear from the incredible community here at Better Bloom. See you in the next one. Keep blooming, friends!